Hi guys, welcome to my third video on my pathway to the PGA. It's just a quick video for a round recap. So if you'd have seen on Instagram, I played at Dainton Park on Sunday. Had a good round, and I'm just going to talk you through how my round went and ways I can improve, and hopefully ways I can help you improve as well. So, again, if you'd have seen my Instagram, you'd have seen my score already. If you haven't, I shot a 7 over par, so a great start to the new year. I shot 1 under my handicap, so that's a great start. I'm really chuffed with it, to be totally honest. I mean, at the same time, you might be confused by this, but I'm also a little bit disappointed. I left so many putts out there; it was unreal. The conditions were good, considering this time of year. The only thing that was probably a little bit disheartening was the putting. The greens had just had some work done, so they're a little bit bobbly in areas. Unfortunately, I found every single one of those bobbly areas, so putting was a little bit, not of a lottery, but it was inconsistent. I can't complain. It's this time of year. You can't have everything your own way, can you? So we'll start with the positives. Off the tee, I was pretty solid. Didn't really get out of position off the tee, which is something that I've worked really hard on this last year. Because that's what used to punish me a lot when I was kind of 16 handicap and between 16 and 14. Off the tee used to kill me. I used to be 3 off the tee a lot of times in a round, put it that way. Whereas yesterday, I think it happened once and I still made a bogey. So the signs of improvement are there. As a whole, like I say, I can't complain about yesterday. Where I did kind of leave a few shots, which led to a few mistakes, was my short game. So again, if you'd have seen my episode before this, you'll see I'm working on short game at the minute. So that's something I still need to work on. There are a few chips that I duffed, a few pitches into a green where I left myself a longer putt than I should have, which then puts pressure on putting. So yeah, there's still room for improvement with the short game, as there always will be. But it's getting there. It's getting there. Like I say, to finish 7 over, I was happy with in the end. I was 1 over after 9, so had a great front 9. The back 9, it just slipped a little bit, but I'm really not complaining because to shoot 1 under par on one of my first few rounds in the new year, I'm delighted. Which means obviously it leads on to my next part of this video, which is, as you can see in the caption, how to break 80. Now, I'm not a golf coach, and I don't perceive myself to be a golf coach. It is something I obviously want to do in the future. I'm merely just expressing my opinion. And in my opinion, one of the most important things about trying to break 80 is how you manage your round, how you manage the golf course you are playing against. It's something I think that doesn't get spoken about enough. It does get spoken about, don't get me wrong, but it's never as popular online and things like that. And with lessons, really, it's just how you manage the game. And if it's frustrating to watch sometimes, even when I'm playing with groups. I'm still a nightmare for it sometimes. And when I mean course management, I don't mean just plodding your way around golf course. Just especially if you're playing a course every week, it's such an easy thing to do that really doesn't take that much time. Plan a strategy to get around the golf course the best way you possibly can with what you're doing. There's no point in you hitting a drive. If you hit a drive 300 odd yards, but you can't hit an 80-yard wedge, sounds familiar. What is the point in you hitting driver? There isn't, and that's something that I'm going through at the minute and still really trying to work on. What I did at Dainton which was really good, is I took driver 4 times. 4 times out of 18 holes. Now, I'm going to see some of those are par 3s, so you don't need driver, but out of those 4, 3 of them were par 5s. So that puts it into perspective. Other than that, I was either taking my driving iron or a 5 iron I took on 1 par 4, and it put me in positions that I'm comfortable with. I'm much more comfortable from a yardage of about 130, 140. So I play to that yardage, and that's something I learned just through playing and experimenting and actually speaking to a professional and saying, listen, how do I actually get myself around the golf course better and more constructively? I'm making this mistake. And the simple answer was, don't put yourself in that situation to make the mistake. So obviously my mistake was getting really nervy around kind of 80, 90 yard pitches. So for me, to avoid that, don't leave myself 80, 90 yards. As much as it would be the same, the opposite. So you're worse from further away, which probably you'll probably find some golfers are. Get yourself closer. So it almost goes the opposite way as well. You know, if you feel you're better from a closer range, and you're good with a driver off the tee, then play that. Why would you leave yourself a longer distance in? You know, you see it on the tours. You know, you only have to look at the PGA Tour, the European Tour, and you see these players taking irons off tees on par fours, sometimes maybe even par fives, depending on what the course layout is. You know, the Open last year, you're seeing players taking 7-iron off the tee to put themselves in a good place on one of the par fours. You know, because of the condition of the course and because of what the course has laid out ahead of them. Especially around tight courses, hazards and bunkers and things like that are there to punish you. They're not really there to make the course look good, although they do look good in the course. They're there to punish you, and the golf course is designed to beat you. Golf always wins. So you've got to plan your way around that golf course to score as well as you possibly can. And I think that stems through from a 28 handicap down to where I am now at 8, and even down to professionals. You ask most professionals and they'll plan their way around the golf course. They don't just go, it's a par 4, I'm taking driver. They're looking at what's ahead of them, and I really do think it will lower anyone's scores just by doing that, let alone any kind of technical adjustments or lessons. I think if you just take your time to go around and actually plan your way around a golf course, especially if you play it week in, week out, it will benefit you so much when you come to your Saturday comp. Now, the simple way to do that, if you have the time of course, is go out when the course is quiet. So generally during the week or an evening through the summer, like I say, a bit difficult at the minute because the light's coming in early still. Go out on the course. What I did was I took a little notebook, I took a couple of clubs off each tee, and just gave myself different scenarios and saw and kind of noted how I got on those holes with different clubs. And then all of a sudden you start seeing results that might surprise you. You know, you might take irons off a tee where you would normally take driver and you actually get a better result. You might get the same, you don't know. But in your head then you can look at it and think, well, that's the hole I'm playing. I carry a driver 250 yards. There's a fairway bunker at 250 yards. So in my head, really, there is no point in hitting driver because I could end up in the bunker if I hit one well. Whereas if I take a 4-iron, I can't hit a 4-iron 250 yards. I finish ahead of it. I leave myself 150. I don't care. You know, I'm not in the bunker. I can still make birdie. I can still make pars. And that's what this game's all about. I think so many people are drawn to just hitting as far as they possibly can because they see these PGA professionals absolutely bombing it down a fairway at 330 yards. These guys practice these shots every single day, hundreds of golf balls a day. So they have the confidence to be able to get past the trouble. Some of these golfers, I know for myself, are a bit different for me, but the average golfer plays once a week, twice a week. And that's playing, that's not practicing. So why put yourself in a position that you're going to put yourself in trouble? Okay, you might get lucky every now and then, you'll miss it. You'll do well on that hole, but on average, if you look at your rounds, how often do you take the wrong club? Do you take the wrong shot? And I think this is something that every golfer could work on. And just that alone, without lessons, you'll make yourself better. Another thing, whilst we're on the topic of course management and kind of game strategy, one thing that, again, I've been a sucker for in the past, and a lot of golfers you find are doing it, they play the golf course. They don't play to their handicap. Now that, for me, is something, again, which it's a mental barrier you can knock through, because how many golfers do you play with? I know I play with a few that get really frustrated. They'll play off 20 odd handicaps and they get frustrated because they don't make par. It makes no sense to me. You know, you've got a 20 handicap for a reason. You're being allowed shots to the golf course. My better rounds as a higher handicap golfer were when I just completely forgot about the par of the golf course and played to my handicap. You know, Stableford competitions, that is what they're designed for, to play to a handicap. You know, I know medals are as well, but you're concentrating on strokes with medal rather than your handicap sometimes, whereas Stableford points, you can blob 3 holes. If you know you've got 2 shots coming up in the next 3 or 4 holes, you can make that back quite quickly. And people get really disheartened when they're not making pars on golf courses. And then when I ask them, well, what's your handicap? And they tell me 20, 21. I don't laugh, but it frustrates me because I feel you shouldn't be making pars because your handicap suggests you can't. And that's not me criticising them as a golfer. I just think people need to play to their handicap, and then naturally, when they score 38, 39 points, generally you will come down slowly. You will come down. Instead of playing the course, play to your handicap, because I promise you, it will work. I didn't even think about my round on Sunday. I was scoring the card. I wasn't paying attention to my score. I look on the 18th. I'm 7 over, 1 under my handicap. That's all right. And that proves my point, you know. You think you just take away, just don't even think about your handicap maybe. Just play the game, you know. Think about what you're doing on the golf course rather than what you're scoring. And you might see some better results. How many golfers do you see that turn around after 9 holes and go, that's the best 9 holes I've had, and then turn around and have an absolute shocker on the back 9? It happens all the time. I know, I've seen it. Don't be that person. Relax. Easier said than done. Enjoy the game first of all. That's why we're all here, because we enjoy the game. But if you're looking to get better, it sounds weird, but don't try so hard. You know, it's one of those where if you take your mind off it, how many, I'll use this as an example. How many times would you hit one out of bounds, your second shot, you completely relax and you hit one well? That's because you're relaxed. You've got to relax. You've got to just, without sounding too corny, you've got to be in the moment, you know, just think about shot by shot. Don't even think about your score. Even if you're playing badly, don't even think about your score. And the golf will get better. It just will. Okay, so, like I say, I'm not a golf coach. You can take my opinion or you can leave it. I'm not fussed. I'm just telling you what's worked for me. And my better rounds have come from when I'm not looking at score. I'm being strategic around what shots I'm playing rather than thinking, oh, I've got a par 5 coming up, I need to score. I'm just thinking about the shot I'm playing at that moment and just thinking where I need to be on that golf course. I hope you find this helpful, guys. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you've done this or you've tried this kind of strategy on breaking 80 with course managing. Let me know if playing lessons work as well, because playing lessons are quite good for that, to have a pro go around you and talk you through it. Comment down below what you think. Comment if you agree or if you disagree. I'd love to hear your opinion. Yeah, let's talk a bit more. You know, I'm here telling you my opinion. I want to hear yours as well. You know, what's worked for you? What is working? What isn't working for you? So I can kind of talk about that as well. Like I say, thank you for watching, guys. Sorry this video is a little bit late. Editing and things have just gone a little bit mad. Yeah, hopefully see you again soon. I should be posting another one Friday. I'll see you then, guys.